Okay, so welcome to the AMA session for DeVote. We'll let the project speak for itself and the team, obviously. I won't give any grand introductions, but I'm asking the questions today. We're going to start with a few pre-prepared questions I've got for Eugene and Alexander, and then we will have a short presentation and move on to a question and answer session from you guys. Okay. Just briefly introduce yourself, guys. Eugene, I'm sure everyone knows you by now, but what's your role with DeVote?
Well, I am very happy to say that I was one of the people who started this project way back in 2020 when we first heard about this criticism of the use of blockchain in elections from some people from MIT and Harvard. I was the one who initiated the discussion in the community. So I guess a founder would be an appropriate name here. And throughout the process, I was playing several roles, just running the project overall, and mostly representing it in the United States, where I spent most of my time.
Fantastic. And Alexander?
Hi, everyone. I'm rather a technical guy, and I'm responsible for the product and for user experience. And my role is to integrate the application itself and to get it integrated with so-called C++ package, zero knowledge package, and to enable the application itself to work and to provide more or less user-friendly experience. In terms of experience, I'm rather a financial guy with operational experience, and I joined the project last year when we started preparation for last year GBA conference, and it went well, and we continued with this work.
Fantastic stuff. Well, that segues rather nicely between you guys into my first kind of proper question. Eugene, I think this is probably for yourself, buddy. Can you tell us basically the story of DeVote? So you mentioned there was a paper from MIT. How did that build up? What's the story?
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. So at that time, the Freeton community, later to be renamed Everscale community, was very active in running contests for the best implementation of some advanced idea to improve the world using blockchain. And one of the things that I suggested that be considered for contest is can we disprove what MIT and Harvard researchers had written in this particular paper, and there were a couple of other ones. They did a lot of damage, in my opinion, to the use of blockchain where it is most needed and appropriate.
That paper was actually titled "From Internet Voting to Blockchain Voting: From Bad to Worse." So it was a very inflammatory paper.
Yes, and so I just didn't like it. And so I decided maybe we can do something about it, and I suggested that the community discusses it. There was a broad discussion, and basically a lot of people from all walks of life came in and said that, yeah, we believe this is something that we should stand up against, and they did. So a contest was run. There was a very substantial reward pool for that. We had a winner in that contest, a company well known to most of you, if not all, Neil Foundation, led by Michael Komarov. And they created essentially what we call now the engine under the hood of DeVote. And that is the Gross 16 technology, otherwise known as zero knowledge proof, which is at the core of DeVote. So after that was done, and once we had the engine, then we had to obviously put the chassis and the body on it for the car to run. And that's what we did is we worked within the framework of Government Blockchain Association based in Washington, D.C. And through that organization, we've reached out to a lot of experts in elections industry and slowly but surely build up a reputation as experts, in technical experts in the field. And then based on that, we actually decided to apply the technology. And the opportunity came up about a year ago, as Alexander mentioned. During a GBA conference in Washington, there was an exhibition of NFTs, and there was a vote to select the best NFT. So we used that opportunity to pilot DeVote there, and went very well. People were very impressed. And from there, we decided that, yes, perhaps there is a need for this product elsewhere, and dedicated next year, most of it anyway, to building the actual MVP for DeVote, which we're happy to report we have now. So that's a brief history. A part of it, thanks to you, Ben, was a series of publications where I really appreciated the original idea. Like, we use the fact that before Nicholas Copernicus in 1472, people believed very strongly and could prove it, they thought, that the Earth is flat. Then, somebody came along and proved that. So we also believe that this opinion that blockchain is not good, not applicable in elections, is what people used to believe. But we are here to demonstrate that the world has changed. Thank you.
Just briefly interjecting, for the hosts of the server we're using, I believe this channel is actually locked. There was someone trying to join us, but I don't believe they can at the moment. So I don't know if you want to change the settings while you've got a second. But carrying on then, so obviously we've kind of grown from this rebuttal to the MIT paper, Eugene. Oh, who's moved his camera now? There we go. We've moved from this rebuttal, and obviously you've mentioned the work with the GBA there. So besides yourself and Alexander and me playing a small role in growing the project, how many people are on the team now, and what do the board of advisors look like? I mean, there's some very impressive names who are involved with us, right?
That's right, and thank you for asking that. So the members of the team itself today would be myself, Alexander, as in here. We have Mark Feldman, who is helping us with investor relations. We obviously have Mikhail Komarov as a technical advisor to the project today. We have you as content creator. Thank you very much for that. We have Maren Berenger, who is our advisor on economics. We have a group of very talented technical people working under Alexander, and I'll let him briefly describe them. But first, let me answer the advisor's question. So yes, indeed, we are very privileged and lucky to have people that advise us on this. Among them are Susan Eustace, the inventor of the first in the world voting machine, about 55 years ago, believe it or not. And they're still being used in the US. She's the president of Wintergreen Research, well-known analytical firm in the US. We have Amelia Powers Gardner, who is the county commissioner in Utah County, Utah. So she is actually an elected government official in the US, advising us as well. In fact, I'm very pleased to say that Amelia was very supportive of community-based, decentralized community-based solutions to be used in public elections. She's a pioneer of that in the US. And
enough to interview her at the time, of course, on this topic. So, yeah, fantastic.
Thank you. And we have Gerard Dachet, the executive director of GBA, which again confirms how important our project is seen in professional, like government blockchain community, right? And there are more than 50 countries represented at GBA, so that's very significant as well. We have Mitya Goroshevsky, the chief architect of Everscale, and Gosh, who is also one of the technical advisors and experts. Mitya has been very supportive of us. I would also mention Pavel Prigolovka, who was very helpful in the very beginning in arranging the contest and helping establish the reward pool, and he was helping us all the way. So some thanks go to him. Sash, maybe that's probably enough advisors. We have other people as well. Some names I cannot name because I don't have official permission. But I will mention perhaps one last name for the advisor board. That's another person you interviewed, and you called them a silver-tongued voice, which I loved. Philip Andrea, who is a senior person in DeVote's main competitor/collaborator, believe it or not, a rare case where competitors wish each other success. The company called voats.com. So we, all of us are members of a working group on elections as part of GBA effort, and Philip Andrea has been incredibly helpful and supportive on the many levels, starting from philosophical. I mean, he's a scholar of Aristotle, of other things. So incredible, knowledgeable gentleman. Many thanks go to him. So Sash, maybe now you can tell us about the team that works with you.
In terms of technical team, we've got front-ender, back-ender, Nikita Miniela and Maxim Zagorsky. We've got external outsourced cryptographer Nam, who helped us substantially with so-called circuit, and he optimized it. And now we've got much more optimized time producing Zk proof on voter side. Just because of his efforts. And we've got some other people who were involved in the process at different stages, like at backend development and C++ adaptation, etc. So we've got lots of people, other people that we're a startup and we're developing MVP at this stage, and definitely we are applying to a number of people outside of our core team to get knowledge, to get expertise, and to move on with our development, because we've got lots of integrations, we've got lots of applications to integrate together and to produce the product and respective user experience. So we applied now and then to different people for the help in these terms. But generally, our team is very compact, and it's just 4 people. So, and this is how we are moving on. And definitely we expect to expand this team and to attract leading expertise both in front end, back end, and cryptography and zero knowledge, because we feel strong demand for our product, and definitely we're appealing to Neil Foundation, who will definitely bring us core expertise in zero knowledge and respective related technologies.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. So, I mean, moving quite deftly on then to the product itself, Alexander. How we mentioned it is at MVP stage, which, for those who aren't aware, minimum viable product. But what exactly does that mean? What can the application do at the moment, and what can it not do? How far along are things?
Okay, as MVP, it's really so, and it demonstrates basic functionality, and it doesn't allow to to provide kind of production level user experience. We need to tune many of its functionalities, but core experience and core functionality of zero knowledge and voting session initiation, voting session deployment of, and production of smart contract of the voter, generation of all the keys and all the cryptography. So it's all combined and it's all integrated, and it allows to produce the vote, to produce the tally, to tally the results, and to verify the results. So this is the main goal of our application, and this is what we did so far.
Okay, and Eugene, obviously we touched on zero knowledge, and we've mentioned that a few times. Why is zero knowledge so important, or Groth 16, or why is anonymization such an important factor in this product?
Yes, that's a great question. Let me begin by saying that in the financial industry today, thanks to position of U.S. regulator, anonymization in finance is a criminal activity, and it is a no-no. So they want KYC from every customer. They want to associate a name with a transaction. Natural. Now, paradoxical in elections industry in the U.S., it is directly the opposite. It is a constitutional requirement, which is called a permanent separation of voter affidavit and voter bulletin. That's exactly what anonymity is. So in elections industry, it's mandatory. And there are several ways that other market participants are trying to solve for this. However, because all of the existing solutions, including votes.com, which we love and respect very much, very advanced guys, it's centralized. So they have a red button. If they want to push it, nobody can prove that announced election results is indeed what people voted for. Now, ZK allows us to do exactly that. We can prove that somebody voted. We can prove that that vote was recorded as cast by the voter. We can prove that it was included in tally as cast. And we can prove that ultimately that the person's vote is included in the final tally. All of that without knowing how that person voted.
And that's
fundamental. That's fundamental. Not only there is permanent disassociation, but there is never an original association to begin with. Nobody except the voter, himself or herself, actually knows how he or she voted. That's the only acceptable solution, and that's what makes DeVote unique.
I would even say slightly more in this respect. It's not only impossible for even administrator to say how this particular voter has voted, but it's even not possible for the voter to prove that he voted this or that way. It's completely anonymous in this respect, and the prover, the voter can get the proof that his vote was submitted and duly tallied and calculated into the final results, but the choice itself is not cannot be discovered to anybody.
Course, and that is really what separates DeVote as an application or a product from everyone else trying to do similar things out there in the market, because obviously there is a huge demand for a product out there like this.
Yes.
Go on.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in. We have a unique first mover advantage at the moment. It's important. I'm sure that there's so much money now being spent on ZK. Other solutions are probably forthcoming at some point. But at the moment, we are the first. So we're trying to capitalize on that and make sure that we reach the user adoption of some level to really have DeVote fly.
Okay, well, obviously we've talked about the technical roadmap and what's left to do for the product, but what is kind of coming up over the next few months in terms of a non-technical roadmap?
Well, we are now
extending out there.
Understand. Well, again, we are now attracting some additional capital through a capital raise to achieve a number of goals. Number one, and Alexander, if needed, later can be more specific about the technical roadmap between MVP and production stage, right? And we have some time before that happens. So a lot of our efforts now, parallel to technical development, are dedicated to non-technical things like business side development. So among those are we started discussions with major DAOs, people who are interested in including anonymity in DAO votes. That's a huge market, the biggest one we see at the moment. Also, the easiest adoption for people is all like advanced knowledge of blockchain and crypto, and people already use it, DAO functionality to do stuff. And so adding governance to them, many of them, if not all, is critical. And governance that allows for true anonymity of wallets is something important and really in demand. Now, the other focus in the near future, of course, is commercial market. There are tens of thousands of potential users for the product just in the US, where I focus. All of the homeowner associations, condominiums, cooperatives, golf clubs, nonprofits, churches, colleges, universities. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Like a private solution, private vote is needed. That includes all of the corporate annual meetings, of course, and many other things. Again, huge potential market. And then the third thing, and so we're hoping to sign some contracts already with the, like for example, right now we're very close on a large real estate management company which runs elections for many thousands of their clients. And so they're very interested. We're talking to them. We're talking to a very advanced group in DAO, again, to see how we can adapt. And then the third market or target in the next few months is political or public, we call it. And that's where there's not much money, and it's extremely complicated, extremely demanding. And we only do that because that maintains, first of all, our reputation as experts in the community. So we talk to, for example, United Nations Pension Fund at the moment, which already introduced digital IDs to its 90,000 pensioners in 190 countries. And they are identifying there through biometric system, confirming as their charter requires that those are alive, right, first and foremost. And then 5 seconds later, they get USDT on their crypto wallet, right? And it's just a simple app on their phone. So adding governance, allowing those people, senior people, to vote on annual elections, nominating the auditor, or electing, CEO, or changing the logo of a pension fund, whatever they need to do. I mean, that's like a natural fit. So do we want to be part of United Nations? I think we do. There's not going to be much money there, granted, but it's more for glory. And I think it improves the social impact of DeVote. For example, DeVote was nominated recently to the Social Impact Award recipient nominees run by GB. I mean, just think about it. I mean, we haven't even, conducted any proper elections, and people already value and appreciate the impact it's going to have. So it's a big advance, I think, to us, which we have to deliver. Alexander, do you want to add something to that?
I can only add, yes, that corporate sector, both DAO and traditional corporations, we see this sector as kind of our primary goal for penetration, and we're going to develop this product precisely in this segment. And but yes, political voting selections, they are very they've got just amazing prospects in the future, probably is in longer run, and definitely it's not the thing that we have to target in kind of in short run, of course, and lots and lots of work has to be done to adopt our technologies for political elections. But in short run, we see just very straightforward solutions, and we see how we can kind of build in our solution into existing practices, both in corporate segment or in DAOs, or say in some small societies like homeowner associations or clubs, etc., because we see quite substantial demand for straightforward, out of the box, and reliable and transparent voting, providing anonymity. This is precisely what we're offering to the market, and we feel that it has very, very good prospects indeed.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Okay, so I mean, a couple more quick questions and we'll move on to the presentation that's prepared. We mentioned that DeVote is currently at a fundraising stage. I mean, what kind of stage are we at and how is this going?
It's very active. Just to remind, the first stage of DeVote development was funded by Everscale community through an established reward for the winner of the contest. Then the second part, where we sort of put the wheels and the body on top of Neil's product, was funded privately by a small group of investors. Like pre-seed, perhaps would be appropriate to call. And then now we want to do the first round. We're doing a raise of $500,000 for 10%. So that values the vote at the moment at $5 million. It really depends. We also, of course, want to know the view of Neil, right? How they would prefer us to do it. I know that Neil Foundation recently raised some $20+ million through a token sale, right? Not equity. They sold tokens to a superb list of tier one investors. I mean, my hats off to Michael for doing that. So it's up in the air. I think it will be ultimately decided by whatever parties end up funding us.
Okay, so unless there's anything you'd like to add to that there, Alexander, it's probably time to move on to our presentation, which I believe you have.
Very simple. Maybe you can run just the video, Alexander, and we don't want to take too long. Obviously, we're already 40 minutes or so into the call, so let's just run a demo and then we'll answer questions. Thank you.
Welcome to the latest demonstration of the DeVote application. A few screens here to show the general information and manuals available inside the app. To begin, we're going to sign up with a new account. As an administrator, skip over filling in some of the details quickly, create a new password, and sign up. Now, once we've signed up with an admin account, we can create our own campaign. Obviously, we need to give the campaign a name to begin with. Access type implies who can vote in this election, and obviously the amount of voters we will allow. So we select all our dates and times, registration, voting, start and end, and results announcement. And then importantly, we need to upload the metadata. Now, we can see this has been created. And we'll click to approve. And so now we move over to our voter. And we can click the Governor 2023 elections that we've just set up and register ourselves in this vote, or campaign if you prefer. And now that registration is open, we can initiate our session and deploy. So now the contract's being deployed. And now we can see we're nearly ready to begin the voting. So in this particular demonstration, we have our governor selection. See our candidates here. Can click through to see detailed information about the candidates. And of course, once we've made our educated selection, we can choose our preferred choice. And confirm. So now we will vote for the vice governor. Exactly the same methodology. And we're not going to vote for internal auditor so that we can see what happens when we leave a selection blank. However, we are going to vote for Secretary of State. DeVote man. And now we can process our results, which will be announced in 5 minutes. We'll lapse the time, of course. And the campaign has been closed, so let's have a look at the results. We can go through and see the votes which have been cast, the ballots for each candidate. And then once we're happy, we can click to verify our results. And that's all for today. Thank you very much. Any questions, please get in touch.
Yeah, ready for any questions. That was our brief demo. And of course, Alexander and I are available to answer any questions the audience may have.
Yeah.
Over my hosting duties.
Yes, the video, as I said, MVP product, our application at this stage is primarily developed to prove kind of basic functionality and feasibility of all the procedures within this zero knowledge process protocol. But on the other hand, we try to develop a user-friendly, very simple to use application with both roles for the voter and the admin. And you see, it's very easy and quite intuitive, and it's quite simple to use. And using this our application, everybody can set up a campaign, run it, and on the other hand, to vote and to participate in this campaign.
So obviously there's only a few of us here due to the locked nature of the channel, but yeah, please jump in if you've got any questions, guys.
Hi all. I'm one of the Ever Incubator technical agents for the sessions, and I have prepared questions for the DeVote project. And first question, why does your application need registration, which is similar to registration in Web2 services?
Yes, thank you for that question. At the moment, just to use any identification mechanism, we use 2FA through like a phone SMS, right? Just to confirm. That's just the simplest way to do so, to demonstrate. Now, of course, depending on the requirements of the both elections administrator, or like in public space, they're called LEOs, local election officials, depending on what they need as a mechanism of remote identification of their voters, whether that's any kind of registration or any kind of biometrics or any kind of other mechanism they choose, that's easy choice, right? So the answer to your question is just for convenience purposes at the moment. Thank you.
Hi.
But just a small addition to this. The thing about our application is that on one hand, we've got verified users, and the admin who is establishing the campaign has to know, in fact, the whole audience that will participate in the campaign. So, on one hand, we've got identified persons, but on the other hand, though we've got all the kind of credentials about these people, and probably we will verify their IDs or whatever documentation. But on the other hand, we're certain that we can provide true anonymous voting, and this is what our technology is about. This is the core idea behind our technology: verified group of people on one hand, but anonymous voting on the other.
Yeah. Thank you for answer. And let's move to the next question. Is there any guarantee that your app won't disclose information by ZK and anonymous mechanism bypassing your technology? Is maybe your code open to review by enthusiasts, maybe open source?
Yes, that's a very important question. One of the core advantages that we talk about when we present DeVote is that anybody can verify anything. So we are sharing the GitHub code with anyone who wants to take a look. It's open for audit. And we believe very strongly that it is the public participation in such applications that will guarantee, the only way to guarantee. There's no way we can go out there and prove, without other experts, third parties, independent observers coming in, looking at it, and publishing about it, reviewing it. So peer reviews, we would love for people who are considered, I guess the term is white hackers, to come in and help us, break the defenses to see where we can improve. We might even at some point, I think, establish a bounty for that, which I think is an incredible idea, to invite people like many in the audience to help us improve. So the answer is we cannot guarantee, but the community as a whole can. Thank you.
Yeah, it's cool answer. I understand. And according to this topic, maybe you have something like a technical white paper that the community can explore.
Yes, we don't have a white paper per se. What we have is a very detailed a technical description of steps ahead, which is very well summarized in the document that we prepared for the National Science Foundation that I mentioned before. That document is public, it's available. Reach out if you want to take a look, and we'll gladly share. But basically, it describes, and it's a combined effort by everybody on the team, including Mikhail Komarov and Alexander here, and myself, and every other member of the team. Even Ben here, his name is mentioned there as well. They do ask the team question there as well, and we provide the short description. So the answer is yes. We're most happy for the people to come in and take a look.
Yeah, nice.
Just a small addition. I would rather say that we are not just, so to say, inclined to kind of disclose our technology and to present some sort of technical documentation for, but we will be obliged to do that, especially if we are going to run some substantial elections or votings, because everybody will be very, not to say curious, but eager to understand that this technology is really secure and provides all the facilities and all the features that were claimed. So we're going to get prepared for audits, whether internal or external, and definitely there will be lots and lots of work with documentation, with tuning of all these procedures, and to feed our procedures into some special situations, like I don't know, some special votings for DAOs or corporate sector. So lots of documentary work is ahead of us.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next question, maybe some more deep dive in technical aspects. And as I understand, you are based on Everscale blockchain. And the question is, how are you going to implement the key proof at this blockchain?
Let me start. It's mostly for Alexander, but let me start answering that. That's a great question. As I said, for legacy reasons, just historically, we grew up out of Everscale, right? It was the Everscale community that funded the original contest, and so just for legacy reasons, we started there. However, DeVote is meant as a multi-chain. And in fact, some of the money we're asking for is to pour it to EVM. That's one of the technical tasks ahead. So the general answer is we are multi-chain, but I'll let Alexander take the technical side of the question, please.
We're currently operating on Everscale, and we're using, so to say, FLD network, which is test network. And at this stage, the network needs to reestablish zero knowledge proof module fully workable, and we're expecting it just in I hope in few weeks time, and we will be able to provide full working model. But generally speaking, DeVote is a multi-chain application, and we're using blockchain in two instances, in two basic functions. First is as a transport for the data exchange between voters and administrator, because all the data has to be saved in public domain on blockchain. And secondly, we use blockchain to verify zero knowledge proofs submitted by voters. So the voter has to prove that he is within some specific pool of eligible voters, and blockchain itself, the node, is verifying that the statement is true. So in this sense, kind of changing one blockchain for another is a rather technical stuff, because to kind of apply DeVote technology to another blockchain. We just need to change the transport and verification procedure for the node or for some special contract as it's realized on some blockchains.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Thank you, Alexander, for addition. And as you mentioned, you developers, you mentioned something about wonderful C++ package that you developed. And maybe is it open source? Can developers now explore this and maybe do experiments and interact with your app and code base now? Maybe contribute to a project. Is it available?
Yeah, it's publicly available probably for more than 1 year, and so where all the kind of changes, our production version, our existing version of the software has direct link to public domain of NIL Foundation, which is called Voting Saver Protocol. It's called Saver Protocol for some reason because it was established by some Korean authors in 2019. And we slightly modified this protocol to adopt it for our needs. So yeah, it's perfectly publicly available, and everybody can contribute to it and can I don't know, probably
Contribute.
yeah, to find some flaws or some errors, and we will be just happy to see any input on your side, on public side.
Yeah, as I said earlier today, we not only that's possible, we actually want it. We would encourage any member of the community to come take a look, criticize, find errors if you can, whatever. That's very valuable for us. Thank you.
Critics is very much fine. It's what we like because we're looking for our further development, and we understand that without any external audit and any external opinion, we won't go any further, and we might incur in very big problems if we underestimate any risks and some problems.
Actually, I'd like to add that I received through the website few requests like this, and so just telling everyone, please reach out to us. We will, if you need, provide access. You can help us in many ways, so please do. Thank you.
Okay. You mentioned that your project in that starting invention stage, and maybe already the community members can try your application and explore as a not developer, but as just simple users that want to explore it. Is it allowed?
Well, it's available today. We can conduct a vote today. So yes, those of you who want to try and test, again, please reach out. For now, we're doing it in a manual sort of way, just because we don't have a full proper production version yet. But there's still, of course, we will work with anyone who comes and they can look at the test the build. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's really good. And maybe you can provide links to your application, GitHub, and etc. to the main chat after the session. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of testing and trying our application, we're trying now to establish sort of a stable version of MVP, because we understand that MVP is just core functionality, and unfortunately or fortunately, it doesn't kind of answer all the questions and doesn't provide kind of ideal user experience. But we're working on it, and we're kind of developing it to such an extent that will be more or less usable by just kind of ordinary unprepared people. And we're going to form sort of a pilot group of testers So yes, everybody is welcome to get onto this group and try application. I expect that we will be able to produce this stable version in just a few days. I think that somewhere middle next week. And yes, then everybody is welcome to try it. And of course, we will provide just, this will be version for Android 12 plus version. And yes, you can try it on your Android device.
Yeah, that's really cool answers. Thank you very much for this. It's a really good conversation.
I can add some probably quasi-technical stuff and show some part of our presentation which we didn't show this time, but still I feel that we had very nice conversation. If you'd like, I can go through very quickly through our probably roadmap and just a few comments on our technical side, if you like.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Thank
You
you.
want to exceed the hour? We are happy to do so. Tell us if you guys want us to stay longer. We're happy.
Once again, about our presentation and how it works, and it's very simple. But what I would like to emphasize is that our application, to some extent, offers very unique experience, in the sense that every voter who installs the application doesn't have to have any crypto wallet or cryptocurrency to produce the vote and to participate in this campaign, because everybody is being paid by the administrator, and it means that we are offering not, so to say, even Web3 experience, but rather Web2 experience, in the sense that the voter, what he needs to do is just to install the application, to verify his phone number, and to, without any crypto wallets, to produce the vote and to verify it. That's it. Just a few clicks on the buttons. That's all. And it's very important feature, because we feel that this quality of our application will enable us to just offer very smooth and very scalable adoption for everybody. So this is very important to mention. Secondly, I would like to emphasize that we're using not only encrypt the data, but we are using additively homomorphic encryption, which means that without decryption of every particular vote, you can produce overall votes and decrypt them as a whole and to get the result. And it's very important. And again, our protocol is offering this very important feature, and it works very smoothly and verifies very quickly the results of the campaign. In terms of future development, besides to these core features that we have already discussed, we've got a number of things that we need to develop. And one of the things that we need to develop, it will be the requirement for not disclosure of voting kind of intermediate voting results. And there will be introduced some multi-party administration, which is some sort of multi-sig procedure for setup and operating of the voting procedure. So this is the thing that we will have to resolve. And let me jump to roadmap. This is very short and very basic roadmap that we have prepared, and we're going to develop our application. And as we said, our main emphasis and main effort in short run will be on commercial campaigns, which are DAOs and corporate votings. And we're going to go through a number of steps of development of additional features, like as intended voting verification, which means that the voter will be able to verify that his actual vote, the data that he sent to blockchain, correctly reflects his intention. So this is very important, and this is one of the things that we will need to develop as well. So this is probably and okay. Last thing, very important for development of overall system is on-chain eligibility system, which will imply development and introduction of some tokens, some NFT passports that will grant automatically eligibility of such voters to participate in a particular campaign. So instead of just compiling some specific, I don't know, telephone or whatever, any other list of voters, the administrator will have just to set up this system of NFT tokens, and they will automatically grant voting rights.
Thank you, Alexander. Ben, back to you.
Yes, thank you very much. My mind's blown a little bit. We've all learned a lot about DeVote today. I assume... Oh, let me put my camera back on. I assume we have gone through all the questions, unless anything else has popped up very quickly during that presentation. Should we do the old going once, going twice, going 3 times? In which case, all that remains to say is thank you very much, Eugene Morozov. Thank you very much, Alexander Zvezdan.
And Ben Bateman, everybody.
Of course, and thank you to our excellent hosts here, Ever Incubator, and thank you to everyone who came and watched along and listened along. If you'd like to get in touch with anyone from the team, perhaps test the app or, get involved with the white hat side of things, reach out, to Eugene usually, or info@devote.usa. Have I got that right?
No. The exact email is info@devoteusa.com.
I was close. Considering I don't have any notes here. That's not too bad. But yes, thank you very much, everyone. And we look forward to having you watch along with the project and get involved in the future. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.